He wants to know why Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, God Almighty has asked him to choose 4 pigeons and put them on the top of mountains and then call them back and they will come back to him. He said, I want to know why 4 pigeons were chosen, not 1 or maybe any other number up to 10. Okay. Also, he has mentioned other 3 verses, I think, from the Holy Quran, in which the 4 criteria were mentioned. And then he wants to know...
what he has spoken of is 4 attributes of Allah in Surah Jummah, which are being represented in 4 attributes of Ahmad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So it's 4 and again 4. And similarly, he has spoken of 4 other things which are popularly known in Islam. The question is, why shouldn't we take the 4 in that verse to indicate these 4 things?
Yes.
This is the question.
That's it.
Correct? Yeah. And you have forgotten to mention one other category of 4, from which every category sprouts. That is the 4 attributes of Allah mentioned in Surah Al-Fatiha. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin, Ar-Rahmanur Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin. These are 4. So add them to the list and your question will be answered that it has nothing to do with the 4 birds which Ibrahim killed. Because he didn't kill the attributes of Allah. I'll speak of that later on. Now, how will it become possible for Ibrahim ﷺ to kill each of Allah's virtue and the attributes of Hazrat Muhammad ﷺ and then put them across in different directions? And it would not answer the question anyway. So there is a different thing which is meant. To man, 4 directions are known: east, west, north and south. So it was to be the message of Abraham which was to spread north, south, east and west. And for each direction there had to be trained people who will be brought close to Abraham, and because of his closeness they would be charged with the spirit of spreading the message across. So this is a symbol. Of course it is symbolic, but it means that when Allah speaks of making life from death, it is a spiritual life which is primary, is foremost. When Allah promises you that this basti, this township will come to life again, Allah does not mean that they will be physically revived and they will start walking out of the death, out of their graves. When Allah promises a prophet of God that he will be able to revive the dead, he always means that he will revive the spiritually dead, not physically dead. So that is why Allah told him to experiment with this. Surhunna ilayka does not mean to make minced meat out of them, like some old Muslim scholars have translated it. Because the word sila, ilah, in Arabic is not applicable to minced beef. Surhunna can be translated as grind them, or surhunna can be translated as attach them to yourself. But when it is surhunna ilayka, it never means minced beef, minced meat. Because word sila, ilah is not used then. Sara ilayhi, sur ilayhi, that always indicates go to him, remain close to him. So Allah tells Abraham to experiment how the dead can become living. He said, choose 4 persons, any 4 persons, and then bring them close to you, and they will become your Sahaba, and they will be so attached to you that whenever you give a call, they will always respond. Then throw them out to any direction, 4 winds, 4 directions, and whenever you call them, they will be obedient despite the fact that they have gone away. So your message will be kept honestly and with integrity by them. They will be the custodians of your message. And whatever they do for you is bringing the dead to life. First give life to your companions. They will become the life givers for the others. This is the meaning of the Quran, which is supported by Arabic, by the Quran, and by other verses of the Quran, because God's attributes could not be divided and distributed in different directions. Please. Now you should remember that this question from Hazrat Ibrahim ﷺ had a background. This background was not of dead people, how they would be raised. Of that he knew. God raises the dead, and he does not show them to the people on earth. The dead are revived in the other life. That Abraham knew very well. So Areni Kafa Tohir Mota was not a question regarding, in fact, real dead ones. Ibrahim ﷺ was rejected. He was thrown out of his township. And at the same time, God was promising him that he will become the forefather of all the nations. His message will be spread far and wide. It will be uncountable like the sand particles of desert. His progeny will be uncountable like the stars. God was telling him all the time. And Abraham was wondering what had happened. He had nobody to follow him except Lot and a few others who went on moving from one place to another. So why was God talking of this? Abraham ﷺ wanted to see the vision. How will God bring it about? So this answer was not just a metaphor, it was a prophecy. It was a prophecy to be fulfilled. Now, when you understand this verse in the light of what I have said, it will have a different meaning altogether. Here, we know that Hazrat Ibrahim ﷺ is given 4 spiritual children, which are mentioned in the Quran. Others are not. Hazrat Ishaq, Hazrat Ismail, Hazrat Yaqub, Hazrat Yusuf. Here are the rest of his children, just 4. 4 are mentioned and the rest are not. And whatever you see in the world today is the offsprings of these 4. Were spread far and wide. And the whole earth is filled with people who believe in Abraham. So this answer was also a prophecy, which Abraham wanted to understand. How will I spread? How I will be able to bring about the life of the dead people on earth? You tell me that the whole world will be at my feet, and I don't see that. So Allah showed him that 4 birds will be granted to you. And these 4 words will call the people of the east and the west and the north and the south, and the whole world be revived through you. But ultimately it was to be revived through Hazrat Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Of that we have different verses. But this also is a meaning of the same verse which you referred to.